Okay,
Great.
So we've got noted streamer Bosch and Roll, Brian Coval, playing against, who are we playing?
Sahaj,
Sahaj.
Viradia. So Brian is former world champ for...
Off to the races pretty quickly with a key and a Black Lotus.
Yep.
Into a very, very tastefully designed sack land.
Retro.
And foil.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. Tough to tell these days. So, and wait, Brian is on the left or the right? Which one is Brian?
Brian's on the left.
Okay, so Brian just searches up for buy. Sorry, I got that confused, ladies and gentlemen. So, Misty Rainforest into a bayou. So you have to think that's Bug, but Bug Monocrypt?
Bug. Ooh,
Oath of Druids. Okay, not Bug.
Turn one.
Looks like that runs into a Force of Will, pitching Force. And it looks like that's going to resolve.
Right.
I'm
We're looking at another kind of like combo deck there on the right side with Sahaj.
Yeah, doesn't look like he revealed Luris.
Yeah.
Sapphire into pass. And it looks like we are going to roll. And evens wins. Doesn't look like any damage taken. And we move into Brian's second turn. Let's see if he can follow up the first turn Oath. Hopefully that is not all he had in the tank.
So what's good to note these days? We have Atraxa, mainly.
Yeah, that has been the big innovation as of late.
Yeah. Oh.
Looks like we can follow this up with a Demonic Tutor into, is it another Oath?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or Show and Tell. I mean, the big innovation I think you've seen in Oath is to just really embrace Show and Tell and be playing a full force Show and Tells.
Mm-hmm. Or Flash, if Atraxa's inside a hand.
Yeah, well, you play Flash with the Show and Tell as like your functional fifth Show and Tell.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So let's see what he's going to get here. Could get Ancestral, could get another Oath. Doesn't look like he's got an Orchard yet. You know, you do this, that would kind of disincentivize the Sagas. Yeah. Oh, we're going to Time Walk.
Time Walk, all right.
I wonder if that was the tutor target, or if he was sandbagging that to use the tutor target on the second Time Walk turn. That's even, so it looks like we're taking some damage there.
Maybe just wanted the extra draw, perhaps as a Tinker in hand, ready to set up for the following turn.
Yeah, maybe maybe he needed a counterspell for it, or he wanted the Force of Will or Flusterstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what he's got. There's a 3 into the Show and Tell.
There you go.
That's what we thought.
So Atraxa, perhaps, it was in hand?
That will be the target.
Yep.
Atraxa, and is that a Hull Breacher?
Ooh, okay, well, this doesn't hit Atraxa's ability to put some cards in hand.
Yeah, because Atraxa does not draw, correct? You look at the cards and you put them in you reveal the cards.
Reveal the top 10, I believe.
Correct.
And then, and then from there, you'll be able to take one of each type.
Yeah.
Yes. So...
All right, so a few choices are pretty easy.
Yeah, we got an artifact in there.
Creature, and the remaining cards get shuffled in, or they go on the bottom?
They go shuffled up, and then they go onto the bottom.
Sure. So do you put the Bowl of Citadel in your hand, or do you put it on the bottom? Taking the Force of... Sorry to not let you respond there, but taking the Force instead of the Ancestral.
Yeah, that's a big call, but maybe it's just simply for protection on Atraxa.
Yeah, if he's got the Atraxa all rolled up,
right.
What's he need to draw? He just needs to not lose the game at this point.
Not lose the game
win.
to a resolved Tinker for your Time Vault.
Yeah, I think taking the Force of Negation with the Thoughtseize is going to be very effective. And I think the other Atraxa you probably want to take, just because it's a blue card that you can pitch.
Yeah,
the Citadel you leave it on the bottom for Tinker just in case.
Exactly.
I think that makes sense.
This was a Thoughtseize that was cast, correct?
It looks like we're still resolving the Atraxa draws.
Okay.
Because we still have the other cards in play, and this is the Atraxa off the Show and Tell towards the top of the screen.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Thoughtseize and the other Atraxa. Why does he not take the Atraxa?
Maybe there's already a blue card in Brian's hand already.
But isn't it just sort of free? Set you up for another Show and Tell if you need, if somehow he answers it, or?
Maybe. Doesn't need.
Again, he's a noted streamer, and I'm just going to be talking for 9 hours. So we'll assume there's a logic there.
Brian, also known as Bosch and Roll,
correct,
to all of his fans out there. I spent some time with him last weekend over in Pittsburgh. We were both competing on a same team for Legacy, Modern, Pioneer.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, him and Alex Pistecki and myself, like we were.
How'd you guys do?
Well, we went 0-2 No, 1-2 drop, but as a team.
So highly not notable.
And, you know, Brian has a lot of accolades. He actually expands into multiple formats, so very respectable accolades there, and being able to, like, you know, dominate in other formats beyond vintage and legacy into modern sometimes too. So, what do we have here?
The Thoughtcease will nab a Spell Pierce, and that is going to leave Sahaj empty-handed into a Forbidden Orchard. It looks like this game is going to go pretty handily towards Brian.
Yeah, I don't know if those constructs are going to be very much like good enough. So,
No, I don't think they'll have enough time. Plus, the Attract has Vigilance.
right.
Because it needs more abilities.
Oh, of course. Lifelink too, right?
Yeah, and flying.
Just in case you're getting smacked in the face, yeah, you can take some punches.
Yeah. I believe it also has freebooting and mutate. I don't know what either of those
You're
mechanics
kidding
really
me,
do.
right?
Oh, of course I'm kidding you. But that's what made it funny. I thought that the delivery was pretty good, right?
No, I
was
almost
really
believed-
dry. I got you good there.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost thought that there was a mutate on there because that was one mechanic that came out in Ikoria that I just didn't pay attention to, so this could have been in there.
Well, I'm also going to guess that less than 5% of our 109 players today know what mutate does. And even if they do know what it does, they will not know how it actually works. Because I can tell you as a fact, I certainly don't.
I taught my nephew and also a brother-in-law on how to play Magic on Ikoria. That was a complete mistake.
Yeah, that was probably not your best work.
No, but now they don't.
Get yourself a 4th edition seal deck. Everything will be fine.
Exactly. Yeah, need just core set for these type of intro type of sets, but yeah, I would highly not recommend doing that to anybody.
No. So anyway, getting back to the action here, it looks like Urza Saga makes 2 tokens, end of turn and beginning of main phase, and fetches a Divining Top. That's going to make each construct token 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.
Yep.
Which is, as it turns out, not 7/7.
You know, Brian might not be out of the woods just yet.
Another attack. We know he's sitting on at bare minimum a Force of Negation, and a Boseiju. Yeah, I think because he took Boseiju off the.
Did he take Boseiju off?
I think so.
Okay.
Again, I could be wrong there, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he
there
took
was like
that.
some pause there that we didn't
Yeah.
really get to see which cards were actually were
Yeah, so
taken
at 25 to 5, you know,
Okay.
he can take 14 pretty easily, or even if those contracts get to 8/8.
Yeah.
All right, I take 16. I'm still at 9.
What would
And you're dead on board.
potentially be the killer here is maybe a time walk backed by a Flusterstorm to heal the hard passage. So yeah, he's doing an EOT.
Look with top.
Look at the top. Try to figure out some way to be able to swing in for hard, but even if he sacrifices the Lotus for mana, it's going to be impacting the amount of damage. But if you can protect that time walk, that could be some stuff. However, there's a big blocker there
With lifelink.
with lifelink. So
So you need to get at least one artifact onto the board to make this, to have them even trade.
yeah. Even if there's a time walk or time vault that resolves,
If a time wall resolves, he wins the game.
yes.
Eventually, he'll get around it. That would be all the turns.
In my head, I was
But there's a force. There's at least one Force of Negation.
yeah. In my head, I was silly, trying to see if I could swing through Attracts. It doesn't work like that.
And our suspicions were confirmed. It looks like Brian Coval is going to win game 1.
All right.
Given we're nearing the end of the round, can we skip right to game 2? Can we?
Let's go back to the booth for 1 second.
Okay, great. We're coming back to the booth.
Leave it up. It's not.
No, yeah, that's fine there.
Cool.
Ooh, we can get this out of the way.
good.
We're trying to look as professional as we can here, ladies and gentlemen. So exciting Magic so far. Again, Mike Lupo and Ragavan the Nimble Topher here
Roland
in
Chang,
beautiful
not
Plainview, New York.
Ragavan. Chang.
I really have to apologize. The eye patch just threw me right off, and it's just. Anyway, back to game 2.
All right. Back to game 2.
And this is the fun of vintage. We've got Tolarian Academy into some jewelry,
That's a
but very little
spicy
to
start.
follow it up. So 4 mana at his disposal, nothing to do with it. Polluted Delta Pass from Brian Coval into an Urza Saga.
I have a feeling that this might be just
Pass, nothing to do.
a PO would be fantastic right here, but
We don't know a ton about Sahaj's deck list, we don't do it. Do we know what he's really doing? We know Saga and
Do we have deck lists?
and artifacts.
Yeah, deck lists would help.
And not Luris.
Sweet. Thank you. Well, yeah. Island Swamp.
End of Tutor.
Mystical Tutor. I remember this card being just one of those that people were starting to cut because it always seemed to be just negative value there. You're removing your draw that you had and replacing it with something that,
As cards have become more and more efficient, the ability for you to use inefficient cards, unless you're doing what I think Brian is doing, where like my game plan centers around protecting my one big thing, as opposed to having every card sort of stand on its own. I think, you'll see a lot of Luris decks not play Mystical Tutor. It's like, why? I would rather just have my one card that has an impact by itself.
makes sense.
And again, you've kind of gotten away from kind of the tempo-y Arcanist decks where just finding your Ancestral won you the game because you cast it 3 times, you Mystical Sanctuary for it once, and then, that era of Magic is gone. It was fun. I actually did. That was probably the last time I did well in Vintage when I could play that deck.
Well, it was like 10, 15 years ago?
No, it wasn't. That era wasn't that long.
Messing with you. This looks pretty good for Brian. We've got Spirit Token on the other side.
Spirit
generated by
Token,
that
Force of Negation, Force of
Forbidden
Will
Orchard.
to protect it.
There you go, as you called.
So here's a question for you. If you are Sahaj and you know Brian Mystical Tutors for the Force of Will backup, do you still burn the Force of Negation there? Ooh,
That's big.
This is gonna hurt.
That's big.
Looks like an upkeep for Force of Vigor. Do we have a PO in response?
Oh.
No, we just have a hardcast force. Okay.
Hardcast Force in response. Okay.
But still, that's hardcast force is pretty much just a time walk here, isn't it? Now he's stopped from making a Saga token.
Yeah.
That Oath is going to fire. What does he do with his turn now?
This is gonna be tough. Got 1 mana to
Cycle a Lorien Revealed, sure. We
Get a land
can
drop.
get an island. Basic island or Underground Sea. Probably Underground Sea. I don't think he's too afraid of Wasteland at this
Looks
point.
like Sahaj has at least 2 more
Oh, a
cards.
Tundra.
Oh, all
Have
right.
we seen any white cards as of yet?
I think that's the first.
Wow. Okay. Was not expecting that one, but we've got a Tundra. So balance is a thing. Balance beats Atraxa, sort of.
Yeah, balance could beat Atraxa. However,
Needs to resolve. But
needs to resolve and needs to also have more creatures on Brian's side to actually
foiled
make.
again by the Spirit Token.
Yeah.
Perhaps not.
Well, Atraxa.
Yep.
We'll see
Looks
how
like
many-
Atraxa is coming.
All right, we get to see Brian's beautiful deck.
Yeah. Many.
What was that other gold card?
Abrupt Decay, I think.
Multicolored.
Abrupt Decay.
Okay.
Yes.
Flash.
There's
Yep.
the Flash we talked about, Nature's Claim. Again, interesting, because of Bauble, you're seeing some Nature's Claim and other cards you have to cast, because Force of Vigor is not always the great answer you want it to be.
Right.
In the face of a Bauble, it's just like, What is that
Okay,
card?
that's a Swords to Plowshares from the.
In response.
Yeah.
No, that is not actually a Swords to Plowshares. Swords to Plowshares is a card that has one dude with a staff
Come on,
standing in
Lupo.
the middle of the field. That is a card that may have the same effect, but I do not recognize
So
it.
I don't read Japanese. I recognize things just by photographic memory. So
Hence, I say I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, let me explain to you what Swords of Plowshares does.
Okay, please
Targets
do.
a creature and removes it from the game.
Yeah, I know that. But what is that thing?
Well, that thing is like alternate art, full frame, and is Japanese in foil, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, you're just speaking heresy, pal. Sorry. That's just heresy to me. It's a dude standing with a wooden stick in the middle of a field. That's the only Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah. Get some culture, bud.
No, too old. Not doing it. I'm not stubborn. I'm consistent. It's different.
That's fair. So the ones I play with are actually F&M foil. So those-
What set are those from? Do you know?
Those are Strixhaven things.
Strixhaven Mystical Archive.
Strixhaven Mystical Archive. Okay.
Yep.
Power to you. You will notice us cracking a lot of jokes and making fun of various different things on the broadcast today. Do keep in mind this stuff is all in good fun. Roll and I have been friends for, got to be chasing 20 years at this point. So we are going to be laughing our way through this one.
All right.
Hope chat doesn't get too mad.
Chat just corrected you. Technically, that's still a dude standing in the field with a stick.
Again, I think now chat is speaking heresy because it is not the same picture that I've been used to for the 30 plus years I've been playing Magic.
All right.
I'm not stubborn. I'm consistent. Thank you very much.
consistent. Very
Please do
stubborn.
not distract me with your reasonableness. It is not welcome here.
So what do we got here? We got
Getting
this-
back to the action.
We still have a spirit token in play that's going to do some beatdowns,
We've
probably.
got a spirit token coming in, and you have to figure we're just going to oath up another Atraxa next turn, right?
Yeah, that has to be the case. I think there's at least running like 2 or 3 copies of it.
Sure.
It's really cool to see that Oath of Druids has now pivoted to something, a better creature in Atraxa as opposed to maybe a Grizzlebrand, which
Yeah.
costs life. You can draw 7, but there's so many ways to punish that now.
Yeah,
the Hole Breacher, the Bowmasters.
The Atraxa is just a better mousetrap. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a strict
As we
upgrade.
saw like last game, there was just lifelink was keeping Brian afloat and just one big fatty.
So courtesy of my consistent Swords to Plowshare soliloquy, we missed the cards that he took off of the Atraxa.
Yeah.
Did you catch any of them?
No, I didn't catch it. But we will assume that he got at least 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, there's probably a couple of good ones in there. It looks like a Ponder.
All right. Yep, that's a Ponder. You recognize that Ponder?
No, that one I can actually read. My eyesight still works.
Oh, okay.
I also do not recognize that one as Ponder.
Yeah. It's like the
Ponder,
new
one of the
alternate
few
art.
cards where I actually recognize the 3 Moon Ponder as the actual Ponder art, not the weird looking merfolk thing.
You know, the
From
Merfolk thing
Lorwyn?
from Lorwyn.
Was it
is-
Lorwyn?
Yes, correct.
Nice.
That one.
I got that one.
Yep, that's my preferred. I like the Lorwyn one.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm very much a traditionalist. I want the original art and the best version of the original art.
Well, the original art is the Lorwyn.
Yeah, I know. And what I'm saying is Ponder is one of the very few exceptions that I have.
Oh, but you said you. Okay, gotcha.
There's very, very few exceptions to that in my book.
Yeah.
Ponder might actually be the only
So you don't want the raindrop Ponder thing that we just saw?
No, I don't.
No. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it had like 3 things, so it's like you're thinking about, which one to take.
And there it is brought up on screen for everybody to take a look at
there's a
the...
lot more than 3 things. Okay, there's
weird
a lot of little
looking-
raindrops.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, there's things inside the little raindrops.
I do understand that an upgraded Abrupt Decay, when I say upgraded, I mean it's the original frame. It is not a retro frame. It is the real frame, or it is the original frame. I don't like this retro nonsense. That is suspect to me.
Retro makes me feel old.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Authentic frame. I would also accept authentic.
OG frame.
Don't like the ring if it doesn't roll off the tongue. But it looks like we're getting another 10 cards revealed from yet another Atraxa. Taking a Mana Vault. We've got for instance, we've got, what is that? Long Goodbye, Ancestral, and Mental Misstep.
Long goodbye. Some tech right here.
Taking a land. We've got a choice of instant and sorcery still remaining. Long Goodbye kills a creature or planeswalker of mana value 3 or less for a black and a colorless. I want to say it's from the Outlaw Cowboy set.
Murders at Karloff Manor.
I am wrong.
Vampires.
Turns out it is not from
Or-
the Cowboy
Clue
set.
set.
Clue
It's a
set.
clue set.
Not even.
It was Colonel Mustard in the
Yes.
library with a candlestick. Getting back, it looks like we have made our decision on sorcery
gotta
and
take it,
ancestral recall. Again, do you not want mental misstep just because you've already got your Atraxa? Similar to last time?
Probably not. I think Brian values a little bit more card draw, perhaps. That is.
He is well behind on mana. He's only got the one Underground Sea in play. Where did the Forbidden Orchard got wastelanded?
Oh wow. Okay, so
We
we
thought season 2 just to Caracas.
I think Caracas.
That's an answer.
Some answers there. That's really.
It will
tough.
answer. It will answer the damage source. It won't stop the card draw, or the card volume.
Yeah, and that was probably a good reason why why Brian decided with the ancestral versus like having protection up.
Did he know about the? Oh, there's a Tinker.
Oh, yikes. All right. What does this get though?
Between 2 Atraxas, and my assumption is Bolas is Citadel, which we saw in Game 1.
We're not going to see Inkwell.
I cannot imagine we will see Leviathan.
Poor
here.
Inky.
Yeah. I think he's hanging out with like Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas, and a couple of other old-time favorites up in the cheap seats. He's having a beer and some popcorn in the cheap seats, just like hanging out.
Clearly.
You ain't getting cold off the bench anytime soon, guy. I'm sorry.
Nope. He's just there to watch the game.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
Yep. Well, Atraxa plus Bolas of Citadel in play, being able to cast anything, especially with a lifelinker.
Into a pass, so you got to assume it's either just another land or a counterspell on top of Brian's deck.
Brian can
And a quick
close
pass.
this out pretty quickly if things start to roll forward with that below the Citadel.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a there's
Do we,
a
do we know
Trax
if he's
in
got a
play, but-
guy's blessing in his deck?
Ooh, I do not.
Brian.
Brian.
And how many Atraxes? It's interesting. I mean, the Caracas could kind of shut him down, unless he can find himself a wasteland.
4 tracks and 0 blessings.
Okay, so 4
Atraxes,
Atraxes. So he's got
0
room to keep bothing. He can keep going.
Yeah, and
Because
he
that's
can-
2, right?
He can cast in Atraxa straight off of.
He's
the,
still pretty far away from that. And we know
Oh,
he put his
wow.
Lotus on the bottom.
Did you just see this? So
What?
you can put Atraxa right back on top to potentially cast
Oh,
it
to
right
just
off
flip
the
it
top.
off the Citadel?
Yeah, the Citadel.
And he's at 22 life? Yeah, from the swords.
Yikes.
I think we're going to see that one. Oh, there's a land.
Okay.
There's Bosiiju the Caracas.
Oh, wow. So no cast of the Atraxa. Maybe it was too risky?
Well, no, it's he still has a second card on top from the Brainstorm. He had 1 Tropical Island on top that he put there after the Brainstorm. Bosiiju from his hand. Now he will continue with his second card off Brainstorm, still the top card of his library right now. And you have to figure, there
Atraxa.
she is.
Alrighty. That's a good move.
Yeah, no, I like that. Brainstorm shows why it's still restricted. One thing I've always wondered, they just printed in Modern 3 Brain Surge, which is like the monster Brainstorm, which, is functionally for Vintage a card that does not exist. It doesn't do anything. I don't think it'll ever see play.
I saw that spoiled. So it's draw 4, is that?
Yeah, it's
And then
a
put
blue
2
and 2 colorless.
Yeah.
Instant, draw 4, put 2 back.
Put 2
So you do
back.
profit a card. So it's not a bad card. I just don't think it's good enough for like the caliber of card you have to be in Vintage. My question to you though is, could they ever print Baby Storm? 1 blue, instant, draw 2, put 1 back.
Ooh.
Or would it, between Modern and Legacy, you have to figure they could not. At bare minimum, it would have to be a sorcery.
At bare minimum, it would have to be.
There's
a
no
sorcery.
way they could make that card an
I
instant.
think that's just way too
much.
Too much and too quick.
With fetch lands as prevalent as they are, just even if you're only refilling away 1 card out of your hand, I think that card would be too good.
I'd immediately slot that into
Everything.
Everything. Anything
It
blue.
doesn't matter.
Yes. Of course, you have to, have the island, but
And then
that's
there's a time
important.
walk, and I think that is going to be the end of this match fairly consistently.
Yep.
Anyway, back to Baby Storm. That will likely never exist.
Yeah, we're gonna just ban that one.
we're just going to clip that one pretty quickly.
Yeah, Baby Storm just died.
Yeah. Oh,
But
rats.
The
Stillborn?
super Brainstorm, I think it's a
cool.
little. Yeah, it's cool. It just seems a little out of reach. If it were maybe like 1 colorless and 1, then
Yeah.
perhaps. But then that's way
That's
too
too
powerful.
much. You can't. Yeah, like that 1 mana makes all the difference.
So props to Wizards for making something relatively balanced for once.
Yeah, again, I think for the most part with MH3, I think they did a really, really good job of making powerful, useful cards, but having them be narrow enough and not Hogak.
Correct. Yes. That was a nightmare.
Yeah, I think with MH with MH1 and MH2, they had a couple of things that were just like, all right, well, there's this, okay, this is kind of silly. But I think with MH3, a lot of the cards are really powerful, but they're not just stupid.
No, yeah, we don't see too many like crazy powerful stuff, but I will say that Nadu stuff, if it ever finds a way to get broken, and I'll leave it up to the vintage experts out there as well to create some really broken decks. Someone break it, and I'm sure it's, even if they restrict it, it's still going to be a powerhouse.
Yeah, Nadu, maybe being the exception. If from the decks I've seen in Modern, I don't seem super concerned about it. They seem relatively clunky, and if you just, it's going to certainly powerful, and people certainly have to shift how they play and how they address
They can
it.
get burned out still.
Yeah, you can get burned out, and you're soft to a lot of creature removal.
Right.
If guys just have heavy removal or can just keep the Nadu out of play, there's nothing you can really do about it. You do have your flares, and there are certainly ways to combat it.
That's the game.
And as expected, that is the game. We're going to have round 2 starting shortly. We're going to take a quick break and be back to you shortly with round 2.